Hey, welcome back. Final update, I believe, on the Svader-rater version 1.200 blue Honda Express. Originally with 104 miles on it, now with about 128. Soon to have a few more. Anyhow, wanted to go over what I've done and I guess some of the obstacles I've overcome. Um, had an issue with this thing running ridiculously rich. Uh, Originally, with the modifications I'd done, I'd upjetted from the stock 75 jet to an 85 jet, and that was too rich, way too rich. Um, so I put the stock 75 jet back in. That was still way too rich, and I've done the MLM pipe, which I'll show you in a minute, and I've also done some cylinder modifications, which generally require some upjetting. Now, it's entirely possible, and I guess I could check, that someone had drilled out the stock 75 jet. It's happened to me several times before, where you think you've got a stock jet and somebody has taken a drill to it. So now I've got a 70 jet in it, and that seems to be fine, although we'll wait for this plane to go by. Although, you know, if I had a 68 jet, I would try that, but I don't have one, and I'd have to wait for it to get here. Not sure I want to do that. Anyhow, I'd originally thought that maybe one of the coils, the pulse coil maybe was bad on the stator. That's happened to me before on a Express SR, and makes it run like the timing's retarded on it, and hence it would run very rich. But I switched stators. That wasn't the case. So finally, I put the 70 jet in, and you know, my latest hunch is maybe somebody drilled out the pilot jet, the idle jet, or maybe Honda messed up. I don't know. So not sure what's going on with this thing. As you know, I battled the carburetor for quite some time. It does need an air filter element, currently running without that, even with a 70 main jet. And I've put on the IRC NR77 tires, which are 2 3/4 inches wide, at least a ½ inch wider than the stock tires, and it rides great on those. It's got a new headlight. It's got a new battery, although it's the smaller Express battery. 81 through 83 require the bigger Express battery, so you might have to switch to that. Cleaned out the gas tank. Ended up taking off the rear turn signals because the MLM pipe was hitting those signals over the bumps. So I just took those off. And I've got a 2mm spacer underneath the cylinder, and I've taken off almost 2mm from the top of the cylinder. Checked the oil in the trans case, and even though it's 38 years old, it looked good. It looked like 104-mile oil, so that's good. So let's flip it around, and you can see the MLM pipe on the other side. And again, I love those big tires. They really make it ride a lot nicer than the skinny tires that Honda put on them, although these tires are quite a bit heavier than the stock tires. I don't know exactly how much, but you know, they feel probably you know, a couple few pounds heavier each. Oh, so there's the MLM pipe. On the stock cylinder with the latest MLM pipes, they have made these for the bigger kits, like the DR kit, that have the big exhaust port or the big exhaust opening in the cylinder. So I had to take a Dremel to the cylinder and open up that exhaust opening to fit this in. And then in addition, the normal mount did not work, and this was the same thing with the DR kit. So I had to drill a new mounting hole right behind the original mounting hole to get this to mount up properly. And you know, I should probably go in for a close-up. So there you can see it. There's the original mounting hole, and I had to drill a new mounting hole there. So that kind of sucked, having to drill up your new pipe. There's still some rust in the gas tank. Kind of disappointed in this paper filter because some rust particles still get by. My thought is they probably just go and stay in the float bowl. But anyways, probably run a couple more tanks of gas through this, and that'll probably get the rest of the rust out. You know, I got probably 95% of it out, maybe more. So anyhow, and then I still have the rear fender attached. However, there is no mount on the MLM exhaust like there is in the stock exhaust for the right side of the fender stay. But it still seems to work, although that fender stay probably rubs against the exhaust some. I've got some stainless steel zip ties. I could probably zip tie it down, or who knows what. But anyways, got the temp gauge mounted on the back of the headlight by the key there. High temps are maybe in the mid 350s, which maybe says, like I was saying, it could go to a 68 jet. It does about 34, 35. We were hoping to get 40 out of it. This MLM pipe, you know, just doesn't seem to hit real hard with the stock cylinder. You know, maybe we just, you know, I'm not getting this thing to the RPMs it needs to get for that pipe to really hit, although it pulls pretty strong from about 18 to, you know, top speed 34, 35. Also, if you're jetted too rich, the pipe won't hit like it should, so maybe a slightly smaller jet would make this thing hit better. And in the past, you know, I've gone down to a smaller jet and gained 6 miles an hour. So it's entirely possible that it just needs a different main jet in it, and you know, maybe you get 3 to 6 miles an hour more out of it. But it's got a strong mid-range, strong pull above 18 miles an hour. So that's nice. So anyways, why don't we take it for a short spin and see how it does.